Yeah, I don't know if anybody ever noticed this before, but the Makaveli logo for Tupac is similar to the Conan the Barbarian logo. And I don't know if this has ever been mentioned anywhere before, but I think that's where Pac might have got his idea for the logo. And I'm pretty sure Pac drew that up himself, but um Pac was like a big movie buff, so like he was real into, various movies and shit. I think he's seen that Conan logo and got inspired from it. And I think nobody ever really made the connection to it because when you're watching Conan the Barbarian, it's such a different element, so far away from like rap music and what rap is about. You're not thinking about rap music, so I don't think people ever really made the connection. And plus, you only glance at the logo really, and then you get captivated into the movie. So yeah, I mean, look at it. It's basically the same exact thing. The letters are wrapped around the sword and everything. Um, so yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I seen I seen a recent interview where the dude that got stomped out in Menace to Society said he was over Pac's house and that Pac had like a huge Jackie Chan collection of movies. And if you remember back in like the 90s, there was a time where that one Jackie Chan movie blew up like really big, and then everybody was searching for his back catalog. So I think Pac was like real big into, I mean, and plus everybody knows he was getting into acting and was an actor. Um, so yeah, it always it always surprises me looking back on how much technology has changed and just like, I'm 40 years old, so we've already gone through um a lot of changes in technology over the past 40 years. We went from landlines to pagers to cell phones, and now we got internet on the cell phones and cameras on our phones and all sorts of shit. And the shit we grew up on is obsolete. So it always surprises me, like looking back when we were younger, you kind of only really knew what was within your area of your neighborhood because we only had like, what, 5 or 8 TV channels. You know what I mean? So most of the time we were really outside and not really watching TV. Half of our TVs didn't even work because the antenna wouldn't pick up shit, you know. But Pac was always reading like the news and just studying on news events. And if you think about journalism back then and shit, when the TV would talk about world events, a lot of it would be very very small. Like I remember back in the day they would show like yearly, they would show on the news when the Klan would have their annual like yearly permitted rally. You know what I mean? And that was like a big thing on the news for 5 minutes, 5 minutes per year. But now if that happened, that would be so blowing up that every single person would know about it. But back then it was so small that it was like if you didn't catch it on TV that day that you were in the house, you just missed it. So it kind of amazes me how much like Pac knew about other stuff. Like granted, it's a movie that everybody has seen back in the day. If you're in the like 40-year-old age range, or at least heard of it, you know what I mean? Um, but there's just a lot of stuff that like he knew, that was just like so ahead of his time. It was almost like Pac had the internet in front of him before the internet even was the internet. You know what I mean? Like the internet was out back then, but the information was useless. It was like AOL chat. That was it. Um, but yeah, it I don't know. He was just so far ahead of his time in different stuff. But and Pac liked to sample things this last point I'll make because I'm just rambling on at this point. Pac liked to sample things that he liked. Like the majority of his music was sampled, and that's why they have such a hard time releasing good quality versions of a lot of those old songs. So then they ended up remixing them with different beats, is because like All Eyes on Me is so heavily sampled that they had to dish out so much money for all the sampling that they used. And that's how he would be when he was with Johnny J, is like, you know, Pac would hear a song on the way going to the studio, or a day before or whatever, and then come in and tell like Johnny J, like, yo, I want to redo a version of that song. You know what I mean? Like, um if you listen to All About You, that's the same beat as that song. I think Candy, I think it's called. um and I think What's Your Phone Number sampled Prince. So the majority of his songs were like something, he was inspired by something and then he made it better. You know what I mean? He like took it to a better level. He did that on his songs, so I can see him doing that on his logo, is like being inspired by Conan with the sword through the lettering and then doing the same thing. You know what I mean? Um and he did that with a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? He saw something, he liked it, and then he did a better version of it.